Good afternoon, good people. So, in today's episode, let us look at some of the reasons why, the possible reasons that could have made Ambassador Meg to tender her resignation as of yesterday. And it's said that she was appointed by the former president of US, that's President Joe Biden, of course, in late 2022, and her appointment actually saw a move to the country a few weeks to our 2022 August general election, where President Ruto was declared as the winner by the IEBC chairperson, that's Wefula Chebukati. And since this time, because now we would say that she has made some impacts, both positively and negatively, during her tenure, her 2-year tenure here in Kenya. And before we look at some of these reasons, it's said that she has made some achievements, or she has made Kenya to move to the next level in terms of security, in terms of trade, in terms of health, and in terms of humanitarian assistance. So, and also they are also, when we look at the electoral process, because now there are some reforms that she had actually advocated for their implementation, and also by giving some funding here and there. And also people do say that with security, she made a major actually boost to Kenyan security by elevating Kenya to be a NATO ally. It's the only country in sub-Saharan Africa, and with this, the security status of Kenya has been actually to a higher level, and only that we are not sure how it will go, since now Biden is not the US president. All those achievements were as a result of President Joe Biden being there, and now Trump is a different person. We don't know how those will happen, or there will be a reverse. Let's wait and see how it will go. And some of the reasons why maybe made her to resign, we have some of 3 reasons. And one of the reasons is public pressure. It's because Kenyans, because now whoever comes to Kenya as a US ambassador must always have our high expectation, and the high expectation is always in regard to the government, because now we expect that particular person or that ambassador to represent as well whenever the sitting government is actually violating some of the human rights. Also, when there is poor governance, that particular representative has to speak. And we would say that Ambassador Meg actually was unlucky, because now she came at a time when the country was facing severe or serious political instability. After the August 2022 general election, the Azimio supporters, Azimio brigade, actually were all over in the streets demonstrating, because now they were calling out the IBC, they were calling out Ruto's resignation, and they were calling out for the government to lower actually cost of living, because now at that given point everything was high. The prices of everything actually were high, and at that given point, it's where now even the Right Honorable former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga told the US or told her that she's a rogue, because at that given point she was taking the sides, and at that given time we actually saw that, or people saw that now she's a public defender of president, because now most of the time when she's coming to make a speech or a press, or she's addressing the nation, she addresses the nation once while she's having actually a side that she's supporting. And that one didn't sit with most of Kenyans very well, and at that given point even they were calling uh, for the US to actually recall her, but she managed to actually escape that issue. And also at this given point, let's say 2024, there were serious protests actually, which were actually sponsored by 2024 finance bill, that's in June. So many Kenyans, or 90% of Kenyans, were not in support of that finance bill, and since they were left alone by their representatives, that's their members of parliament, who are supporting allegedly supporting the executive, they had to go to the streets by themselves. And during this time, there were serious abductions, there were serious forced disappearances, there were killings. And at this given point, because now even it took actually more than 10 days to actually say something about the abductions, about the human rights violations which were taking place by this given point, by this time. And people, because of the pressure which were mounting from the citizens, the Western diplomatic missions spoke like after 10 days because of that pressure. And that one, people saw that it was not good for her to sit there as a US ambassador to Kenya, while with us here we are dying. She's not saying anything. Just remember, because we had said when you are coming to Kenya as a US ambassador, there is high expectation put on you by the Kenyans in terms of governance, in terms of accountability on the issues of human rights. And the second reason is that it's alleged that she refused actually to sign an envoy letter. So this letter actually was going to prompt the investigations into these disappearances, because if she could have actually signed that document, it could have given these people to venture, the Western, do we call them the Western diplomats, missions, to actually throw themselves into this matter. But because she didn't do that, she's accused of that. So that's also, that one also caused an internal pressure so that she could be able to leave the space. And now the major issue is the US citizens who came out in large numbers to speak during the voting process, because now they voted in President Donald Trump. And if you look at this history, before her, or her predecessor, was Ambassador Mark Carter. And with her, because now the ambassador was an appointee of President Donald Trump during his tenure, that's 2017 to 2021. When Biden came into power, because with that, her predecessor actually was rewarded as being a supporter of the Republicans. So it's now the Democrat who came into power, and through the power of Biden, he had to actually appoint whoever supported him. And before the appointment, or before her appointment, she was actually a supporter. In 2017, she was a massive supporter of the Republican, and she was even given a ticket to run for the governor of Virginia, and she failed, only to say so. she never won the seat. And after that, she shifted actually her support from Republican to Democrat. So during 2018, she had actually supported the Democrat, and after Biden won the presidency, she was rewarded as now the US ambassador to Kenya. And now during these US elections, she was actually weighing if Harris was going to win or Trump, of which now if Harris could have actually won, I'm sure she couldn't have actually tendered a resignation because that's Democrat. And since now it's the Republican who won, that's President Donald Trump, and now there's a high probability, the probability of President Trump actually appointing uh, a different ambassador to Kenya is one. So she had to be very wise, she had to resign. So that's the major reason why we assume that, or makes our logical argument or conclusion on the reasons why she had refunded. The other ones, the other two are just mere that public pressure, because now she had managed to go through that failure, the failure to actually sign the letter, the convoy, the envoy's letter. That's also not that huge, but now the major one is this, the rise of President Trump into power again. So with that, she has nothing, she cannot do anything in terms of changing that victory, so she has to resign. And now those are our three reasons that we analyzed and found could be the reasons why she tendered a resignation. So because of you also, you might have some reasons, share with us those reasons. We are able to actually, we are capable of improving, and if you share with them, we'll be able to improve on that and we'll be glad. Thank you.